Imagine a small town where everything seems peaceful, but beneath the surface a dark secret lurks. Children vanish without a trace, and no one is willing to speak the truth. What if the mystery goes deeper than anyone ever imagined? This is the chilling story of weapons, where ancient rituals and sinister forces play a deadly game, and no one is safe. Stay with us, because what you're about to uncover will change everything. You're watching Flixor. Where did they go? There's nothing here. I was just here yesterday. Here we go again. All those kids who went missing, I think we know what happened to them. This is the last place you'll ever look for your children. You must understand how big this is. We're talking about 12 children gone in one night. How is that even possible? They all lived within a mile radius of each other. Some of them were at sleepovers, others were in their own homes. And then, just like that, they disappeared, gone without a trace. What does it mean? This is a small town in Virginia. It looks like any other peaceful neighborhood, but there's something sinister lurking beneath the surface. Something wicked this way comes. The film opens on what seems like an ordinary evening. We meet our protagonist, a schoolteacher played by Julia Garner, who's busy preparing for the next day's class. Her daughter, Lily, is spending the night at a friend's house. Soon, her phone lights up with messages from other parents asking if she's heard from Lily. Apparently, Lily and her friend had vanished from their homes in the middle of the night. This can't be happening. Why would two children leave without anyone knowing? As the sun begins to rise, the entire town is turned upside down. Police cars are everywhere. The streets are crawling with officers as they search for any sign of the missing children. Meanwhile, Julia's character, along with the rest of the town, waits anxiously for news. She calls Lily's friend's house, but there's no answer. No one knows where these kids have gone. Hours pass by, and the police have still found no trace of the missing children. Julia's character, being a teacher, has her own experience with kids. She knows their habits, their routines, their friends, and most importantly, their imagination. Nothing in this situation makes sense. Kids don't just run away without telling anyone. So where could they be? And more importantly, why? And as the hours turn into days, the police seem to be no closer to finding the children than when they started. And then they give up. Officially, it's a cold case. Unbelievable, they've just given up. Are they really going to let this go? What about the families? What about justice? But it turns out, the police weren't bluffing. In a shocking turn of events, the case is closed with no answers, no suspects, and no hope of recovery. Can this be real? Why would the police give up so easily? Is there more to this story than meets the eye? Amidst the chaos, a young investigative journalist named Zach arrives in town. He's heard about the case and wants to do a story on it. He teams up with Sheriff, a former police officer who was taken off the case due to his unorthodox methods. Together, they set out to find the truth behind the disappearances. He understands the gravity of the situation. Children have vanished without a trace, and the police have done everything they can to cover it up. He knows he has to tread carefully, but he's determined to get to the bottom of this mystery. As they dig deeper into the case, they uncover a series of disturbing clues that the police seem to have overlooked. First, at the scene where the children vanished, they discovered strange symbols carved into the ground. These symbols looked ancient and were unlike anything they'd seen before. It's almost as if whoever took the children wanted them to see this before they disappeared. But it gets worse. They also found strange markings on the children's belongings, especially on Lily's backpack. It was covered in strange symbols that seemed to glow under black light. What did they mean? Were they some kind of code or a message from the kidnappers? But the most shocking discovery came when they went back to the houses where the children had been taken from. As they searched through the crime scenes, they found something hidden in the walls. It was a secret passageway that led to an underground tunnel. This tunnel seemed to go on forever, and they couldn't help but wonder where it led. The young reporter and the former sheriff exchange a worried glance. They knew they were on the verge of uncovering something big, but they didn't realize just how big. They followed the tunnel, hoping it would lead them to the children or at least provide some clues as to where they might be. But instead, it led them to a forgotten church community hidden deep in the woods outside of town. This community was unlike any other they'd ever seen before. Its members were strange and secretive, and they seemed to know more than they were letting on. What secrets were they hiding, and how were they connected to the missing children? The former police officer cautiously approached the church, his eyes scanning the area for any signs of danger. He knew that they were stepping into the unknown, and he was prepared for anything. He walked inside, his eyes adjusting to the dim lighting. What he saw next shocked him to his core. In the center of the room was a large circle drawn on the floor, and inside it was a group of people gathered around a bonfire. But that wasn't the most disturbing part. Around the circle were 12 empty chairs, each with a name tag on it. The name tags had the same strange symbols that they had seen at the crime scenes. He felt a chill run down his spine. Could this be the answer they were looking for? Was this group responsible for the children's disappearance? Suddenly, one of the people in the circle noticed them and began to scream. The others turned their heads, their faces pale with fear. Before the former police officer could react, someone stepped in front of him, blocking his view. It was the leader of the group, a man named Benedict Wong, his face hidden in the shadows. His voice was deep and mysterious, and it sent shivers down the former police officer's spine. He gestured for them to wait a moment and then turned back to the fire. The others followed his lead, their eyes never leaving the couple. After what felt like an eternity, Benedict Wong finally spoke. His voice echoed in the silent room, and every word sent chills down their spines. "You are not welcome here," he said, his eyes blazing with anger. "Leave now and do not come back." They were stunned by his words. They had hoped to find answers here, but instead they had only managed to stir up trouble. Just as they were about to leave, Benedict Wong stopped them. "There is something you should know," he said, his voice softer now, almost a whisper. "These children are safe here. They are protected." What did he mean by that? Were the children really safe here? Or was he just trying to trick them? They were torn. They wanted to believe him, but they couldn't help but feel suspicious. After a tense standoff, they decided to trust Benedict Wong and hear him out. But as they listened to his story, they realized that they had stumbled upon something bigger than they had ever imagined. He told them that their organization had been around for centuries, and their purpose was to protect the children from the darkness that lurked in the world. He claimed that the children were safe with them and that they were doing what was best for them. He explained that the symbols they had seen were ancient and held great power. They were used to protect the children and keep them safe from harm. He also told them about the underground tunnel, saying that it was used to transport the children safely. But the most shocking revelation was yet to come. According to Benedict Wong, the disappearances were not accidental. They were part of an ancient ritual that had been passed down for generations. The children were chosen for this ritual, and their disappearance was necessary to appease the darkness that threatened to consume the world. They were horrified by what they were hearing. They had thought they were there to save the children, but it seemed like they had only put them in more danger. They had stumbled upon a dark and terrifying secret that had been hidden for centuries. Now they had to decide what to do next. Do they expose this sinister ritual and risk unleashing the darkness that Benedict Wong had spoken about? Or do they keep this terrible secret hidden and let these innocent children be sacrificed? The former police officer and the young reporter exchanged a look. They knew that they couldn't let this go. They had come too far to turn back now. They had to expose this evil and bring it to an end. They thanked Benedict Wong for his time and left the church, their minds racing with thoughts of what they had just heard. As they drove away, they made a plan. They would gather evidence to expose the ritual and bring the members of the cult to justice. But they knew it wouldn't be easy. They were up against a powerful and dangerous enemy, and they had to be careful. In the end, the former police officer and the young reporter were successful in exposing the cult and bringing an end to their evil ritual. The children were rescued, and the town was finally able to move on from the terrible ordeal. The film ends with a sense of justice and closure, but also with a reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected places. So what do you think? Did you see that plot twist coming? If you enjoyed this thrilling tale, don't forget to show your support. Your likes and comments mean the world to us. And if you're hungry for even more exciting stories, stay tuned for more content. Until next time, keep guessing and stay a little scared.